I'm here. It's about 3.5 or less. I'll try to be quick, but I've done public comments in other forums, so I know the rules. So anyways, I'm here to speak on behalf of my deceased son, Dustin Scott Christian, born in Los Robles Hospital, March 28, 1994, and raised in this community, attending public school throughout his life. I grew up in this town myself. My parents are the original homeowners since 1967 in Newbury Park. My son died of a drug overdose last school year. He struggled with a co-occurring condition of anxiety and depression and addiction. The day before before Dustin died, he went into the school principal's office crying an emotional mess at Conejo Valley High School over a fight he had with his dad the night before. Instead of having my son picked up, he was given a pass to walk to his grandparents' house just up the street, even though my son, in his poor mental state, should not have been allowed to leave without a ride home. I was at work and not at home to check on him. My parents were worried because, in fact, he did not come right home. I'm sure he scored drugs at the time and got high on his way home. It was already suspected he may have been under the influence of drugs at school, another reason my son should not have been given a pass. My dad was available to pick him up. Also, Child Protective Services were involved as they were called by the school. The next morning, March 7th, 2012, I found my son in his bed as I went to wake him up for school, lifeless. He had passed in his sleep. No mother should have to live the rest of her life with this memory. My son was attending a high school for at-risk youth. He had a narcotics record and was recently off house arrest. The lack of intervention in my son's welfare goes without saying, and to make matters worse, my son's life went without acknowledgement. Dustin was 3 months from graduating high school. He struggled throughout school. Records will show since elementary school, I was a parent advocating for him and encouraging him. I wrote a touching email to the school district. I wrote, because my son was never memorialized in the school yearbook or mentioned at high school graduation. His response was, given by the school district, we don't want to call attention to suicides or overdoses, believing this would cause a lonely person to do the same thing or go out and use drugs. I have news for you. Students don't kill themselves so they can end up in a high school yearbook. And for wanting to use or using drugs, this lesson from my son's
Thank you, Mrs. Christian. Thank you so much.
Can I finish, please?
Well, we give 3 minutes to...
It's very important to me. Can I...
Okay, take another 30 seconds, yeah.
This would
Okay, okay,
my circumstances.
okay. Thank you.
Considering what I'm talking
Take another...
about right now. Child won't be able to open their parents' yearbook in 20 years and ask, Dad, how did this boy die? Well, my son, let me tell you the story of a great kid that named Dustin made a great bad decision one day that cost him his life. Thousand Oaks High School had no problem memorializing Griffin Kramer in their yearbook. He also died of a drug overdose. And even though it was mentioned at Thousand Oaks High School graduation, there were 2 less students graduating, still Griffin's name was not mentioned, even though it was his high school. I have 3 more sentences. I told my friend about this, and she said, at Camarillo High School, class of 2012, there was an empty chair with flowers on it for a girl that had died. I wondered, how did she die? Or did they not care? After all, it only mattered that she had lived, as should be for any student that lost their life before their time. Thank you, and thank you. This will be in the record that you dug me at a very important time. That was very cold.
Thank you. Thank you very much.